between the door and the glass.
Quinn, mate, you keen to kick off laughable injuries for us this week?
I was in PE class, year 13. I was 18 years old, and we're playing a game called Crazy Softball. And one of the bases for the safe base was a fat mat with a mini trampoline on the front of it. And I decided to run up and do a big flip, and then cleared the fat mat and ended up smacking my heels into the gymnasium floor and broke my leg and then broke a bone in my foot.
Oh, you
I was in a wheelchair for a month.
You did yourself a right mischief.
This one here from Lisa Jones. When I was mid-20s, I was a lifeguard. I fell and sprained my ankle running around the pool, so I got put on crutches. That night, I was walking around getting used to the crutches and thought it'd be pretty fun to take a big old swing through. What happened was I smashed my good foot into the crutches and broke 2 of my toes. So sprained ankle one side, 2 broken toes on the other.
What a shambles.
This one here from Jodes. I was in my PJs, no bra, and my husband was driving my 18-year-old daughter and her boyfriend into town. I ran to the car to give my husband a kiss and was leaning against the window as he wound it down. My nipple got wound down and caught down between the door and the glass. I screamed in pain, my nipple, my nipple. I was humiliated. As you would guess, everyone else in the car found it quite hilarious. Just,
oh my gosh. Oh my God.
like a pastry roller. The pinch.
Megan Wilson. Wearing my trusty safety jandals, mowing the lawns one afternoon before heading away for the weekend. Mower stopped, went to start it again. It was been an absolute bastard, so I put my foot on the mower deck, gave the cord one almighty yank. Foot slipped off, went under the mower. Mower deck landed on the foot, and the blades turned, taking the side of my little toe and clipping the toenail off the next toe. Foot blew up, bleeding like a stuck pig. I jammed a sock over the whole shambles. Finished the lawn and drove myself 30 minutes to the hospital. Broke my foot in 10 places, and the thing that hurt the most was getting the sock off my foot because the blood was stuck to it. All good apart from that, actually. Up the waz.
Holy heck. Yeah, no, I just got on with it, A couple of months back, one of my workmates was loading balls when one spun around and tried to put on the farmer's gumboot while the farmer still was wearing it. Ripping open his leg, it looked like a bad filleting job. Found out yesterday I've been working full-time with a broken tibia under my knee and all the ligaments have been ripped off it.
No.
What the... What in the farmer is going on here?
Jack Patterson. I had an uncle that was feeding the catfish at his farm. He was pulling the feed trailer and the rope that opened the chute wrapped around his thumb. The trailer came unhooked and he couldn't stop the tractor quick enough, and he knew if he got pulled off the tractor it would have run into the pond. So he decided to just hold on tight, and the rope ripped his thumb off at the base. He drove the tractor back to the barn, wrapped up his hand in paper towels and duct tape, and then went back out and retrieved the trailer and finished feeding out. Then finally, we all convinced him to go to the hospital. This was the next day when it started getting infected. The doctor asked him where his thumb was, and he said, I didn't figure it was any good. I threw it in the pond.
This one here from Marky Bergen. I had an appointment for a vasectomy, rocked up to the surgery, waiting room was empty. Turns out I was the last appointment for the day. Ushered into the room, the doctor's looking a little bit flustered. I'm sorry, but our delivery of anaesthetics hasn't arrived and we used the last of our stock on the previous patient.
This isn't real.
What do you want to do? Now, let me tell you, I've got more than enough kids, more than you can count on one hand. So I'm like, is anaesthetic compulsory? The doctor's response, well, no, but I've never done a vasectomy without it. Fine, just get on with it then. And he did. I needed to call a mate to get picked up because my legs were a little bit shaky afterwards, though. Imagine getting a vas.
That bloke has come the closest to childbirth, and he's not even a tenth of the way there.
I'm done.
That's a lot.
I'm done with today.
That's quite a bit.
From Lee Goodhoe. I once simply was playing my PlayStation 4 and a bird hit my window. I turned my head so fast that in shock I pulled a muscle down the right side of my neck I could barely move, which put me out of action for 2.5 weeks. All for a game of Call of Duty. Who would have thought, eh?
Alice Manson. When I was pregnant with my first, I tore the muscles between my ribs going for a power-up on Guitar Hero.
I lost balance stepping over my dog, landed on the bed, then launched onto the hardwood floor. No time to brace. I landed on my left-hand side, arms down, no landing gear. 3 days before Christmas, broke 3 of my ribs, had to take 6 weeks off work.
And someone else walked out their front door when 7 months pregnant and broke her leg in 2 places, tore ligaments on the other ankle. When I went down trying to catch myself, spent 4 months in a wheelchair. I didn't even trip or catch my foot. It just randomly snapped. It'd be on a Fonterra ad.
Same vein from Nikki Davis. I was once just standing there talking to a friend after a night out when my ankle completely gave way. Luckily, my friend caught me as I fell, but I sprained my ankle really bad. I was in a boot for 2 weeks.
Jeez, you just don't know when your body's going to give up,
Collapsed, Another one here. I sneezed and broke 2 ribs. Then 3 days later, went into a laughing fit and passed out from the pain. Not sure if it was a shortness of breath or the fact that I might have broken another 2. It's Mike Lewicki.
Yeah.
I fractured my spine, T12 to be exact. Getting into bed one night, went to lie down and heard a popping noise like when you crack your knuckles. Was a bit startled because it was loud. Sat up a bit, had a wiggle about, seemed okay, so went to sleep. When I woke up in the morning and went to stand up, I felt every vertebrae compressed in one spot and completely paralysed me from the waist down.
Oh my God.
I'm back walking though, fellas, up the wires.
Wow. It makes you just worried to be alive. My dad has one of the loudest sneezes I've ever heard. One day Mum was having a rest because she was crook and he was reading next to her. He felt a sneeze coming, so he tried to muffle it but ended up ripping something in his eye and had a black spot in his vision. He needed surgery to sew it back into place. All sweet now.
Both his legs.
That can't be real. Nathan, my mate did his meniscus and his knee bending down to get a beer out of the fridge, had time off work and surgery. Megan, I stepped off a bus in November 2020 and ended up with a fracture of my left foot, dislocated all 5 metatarsals, 8 fractures across 5 bones, needed 7 screws, a metal plate and 2 wires, 2 surgeries and couldn't walk for 4 months, relegated to a knee scooter, stepping off a gosh damn bus. I was 39.
Buckle yourself in here. This from Estelle Utting. I walked outside to feed the rabbits, slipped and tore my collarbone right off my shoulder.
Tore your collarbone right off your shoulder.
Tom in York, not from Radiohead, managed to break my finger blackberry picking for my toddler because I fell over holding scissors and it snapped in the handle as I fell. I went to an under-resourced A&E department on a bank holiday weekend where a small fracture was seen on the x-ray. Unfortunately, she then put the splint on backwards and it pushed the break apart and was significantly worse when removed 2 weeks later. Kerry Codd, I'm 45 years old. Thought I'd give my wife the old Dutch oven in bed. Pretty classic stuff there. Squeezed too hard, shat my dacks. Tried to get out of bed and run to the bathroom, tripped on the duvet, hit the ground, broke my nose, laying on the floor with shit in my pants and blood rushing out of my nose. She's a lucky lass. Will's Jago. Hey, fellas, what about the guy in Wellington whose wife used to use methylated spirits to clean everything? He's sitting on the toilet having a ciggy, dropped the button to the bowl, the fumes caught alight, 3rd-degree burns all over his C&B, burn his asshole as well. The funny part is the ambos who were attempting to get him down the stairs were laughing so hard they dropped the stretcher. He slid down the stairs and broke both his legs.
That can't be real. That can't be real.
I don't even care.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even care if it's not.
Well, this segment still has legs, doesn't it?
Who has a ciggy while they're having a shit? Can I go first with this one from the Shaniac?
Here we go.
Two banger, what are you running, heads or
Heads.
tails? Tails.
You prick.
This from Shane. Went for an operation on my bum hole where it was what I can only describe as a cut and shut afterwards. I had to go on a liquid diet after, for obvious reasons. I was sat watching TV and got the urge, so I ran and beat Usain Bolt to the bathroom only to glide past and go down like I'd been sniper clipped. Unfortunately, I was in my socks and on a laminate floor, and as I glided past the Last Chance Saloon, my 22mm air stretcher hooked on the handle absolutely poked both the lobe and ripped the back of my ear off. I'm talking a good 2 inches. Humiliated, still sliding towards a wall, I shat myself and passed out, only to be found in what I can describe as "you weren't there, man" by my pals. As you can only imagine, no sympathy, but plenty of pictures. Cheers.
I had throat surgery and the stitch didn't resolve, so the surgeon had to put a knife down my throat while the nurse held my head back. Because if I gagged, I would have cut my throat open. I also have allergies and have died, I think maybe 30 times.
Man. There's nobody else like Jason Marks, who gave mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to a red-eared terrapin that had drowned, which is like a little tortoise. Well played.
Oh, that's hot.
Flipped it on his back. Don't know how he went with the compressions. Ash Ward. That's hot. When I was a young fella, I broke my upper arm by throwing a softball. After that, opened it up 6 more times. Then after we thought it had healed, I was playing brands at school. Yep, you guessed it. I threw the ball and my arm followed. Oh, shit. Luckily for the skin, otherwise I would have had to chase the bugger down. Lol.